So imagine you have to connect with an audience. There's two ways you can tell a story. One is very factual, or one is to draw your audience in. So listen to this story. Imagine that your husband gets up in the morning and your children, everybody's getting ready to go. The children go out and get on the bus, and your husband or your wife goes off to work, and you're still at home. Well, that happened to a young lady recently. Her husband got up, got in his car, and drove to work. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. Somebody had been drinking the night before. They crossed the line and they ran into him. His car was so mangled, the two cars together, they couldn't even hardly tell that they were cars. He was rushed to the hospital, and because people like you give blood, they were able to save his life. That's a story that a young gentleman told recently at a presentation to a marketing company when he was encouraging people to donate blood. Now let's look at this if we try to draw our audience in. See if this feels at all different. Imagine you get up in the morning, your spouse goes off to work, your husband and your wife, your children get on the school bus. A little while later you get a call. It says, "We need you to come down to Mercy Hospital." Well, why? What? "We just need you to come to Mercy Hospital, ma'am." That's a call a young mom got recently. What had happened is when her husband was on the way to work, a drunk driver crossed the line. Their cars were so mangled you couldn't hardly tell they were cars. And miraculously, this young man lived. They used the jaws of life. They pulled him out of that car. They put him in an ambulance and they took him to the hospital. You know what that young mom wasn't thinking? What that young wife wasn't thinking? "I hope they have enough blood at the hospital to save my husband's life." She was thinking, "Is my husband going to be okay? Is the children or the father of my children going to come home?" Imagine she gets to the hospital and says, "Ma'am, we couldn't save your husband. We didn't have any blood." Your company is a hero for allowing the Bloodmobile to come out here. They're even going to pay you to come to the Bloodmobile and come out and donate. I'm asking each of you to be a hero. Several of you have signed up already. Thank you for being heroes. For those of you who haven't yet, then we're going to have a clipboard down in the lobby. Can each of you stop by and sign up so you'll never have to wonder if your mom or your sister or your wife or husband is on the way to the hospital. You'll never have to wonder, is there enough blood to save that person? Did that feel a little bit different? We need to individualize our presentations. When we tell a generic story, somebody can say, "Oh, that's kind of sad." When we take them with us, we need to bring them in. One of the principles is speak to one, connect to all. Imagine if it was your mother, your daughter, your husband. So when we're connecting with our audience, make sure that we ask questions that they can connect with, that they can emotionally relate to, so that they can own that feeling, and then it will draw them to action. Can you see how that makes sense?